We welcome all the team leaders, participants, role players, and our wonderful audience. Jai Bhim, everyone. Best wishes for birth anniversary celebration week of our great leaders, Chakravarti Ashok Samrat, Kranti Jyoti Rashtrapita Phule, and Mahamanav Dr. Baba Sahib Ambedkar. They cannot make history who forget history. Cultivation of mind should be the ultimate aim of human existence. Progress of the community is measured by the degree of progress of the woman in the society. We meet every month to remember our great Mahanayak and Mahanayika who have sacrificed their whole life to elevate our people socially, culturally, morally. Let me take this opportunity to remember and pay tribute to our great leaders whose life struggle is the inspiration to all of us. We, the people of India and around the world, pay our tribute to our Mahamanav, Mahanayika, and our great leaders. Hope you are very much excited for today's event. We welcome you all and wish you all the best. We are sure our team leaders will rock the show, and after completion of this meeting, we will definitely have some takeaway message for all of us. Before we begin, let me read the preamble of Indian Constitution. Preamble. We the people of India, having solemnly resolved to constitute India to a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic, and to secure to all its citizens justice, social, economic, and political liberty of thought, expression, faith, belief, and worship, equality of status and of opportunity, and to promote among all fraternity, assuring the dignity of the individual and the unity and integrity of the nation. In our constitution, platform is divided into 4 parts. One is monthly IQ Ladies e-meet program where we meet on last Saturday of every month. Second is IQ Children's e-meet where we meet on third Saturday of every month. And third part is IQ Radio 189.1 for everyone on every Saturday evening. Fourth part is Discuss, Debate, Communicate or IQ Youth Club program on second Sunday of every month. Fine. On this occasion, on the behalf of team leaders and organizers, let me take this opportunity to wish you all the best for your future journey. Now we know you are eagerly waiting for the event to start. I declare this IQ Youth Club online meeting is open. Over to the host.
Thank you, Vishakha, for the wonderful introduction. Let us move on to the next segment of our program, or let us begin our program now. For the same, I'd like to call Saili Wagmare. She is going to be our listening skill master. She's from Pune. And in this segment, we are going to watch a motivational video. And after that, we are going to have some question and answer or a short discussion on the same. So for the same, I'd like to call Saili. Saili, are you there?
Yes.
Okay, Saili, you can proceed now.
राजर्षि शाहू स्मृति शताब्दी 6 मई 2022 से 6 मई 2023 सामाजिक लोकतंत्र के आधार स्तंभ राजर्षि शाहू महाराज। आज पूरा देश अपने महान लोक राजा की स्मृति में गंभीरतापूर्वक एवं विनम्रतापूर्वक अभिवादन कर रहा है। बाबा साहेब डॉक्टर आंबेडकर ने उन्हें सामाजिक लोकतंत्र का आधार स्तंभ कहा। कानपुर के कुर्मी सभा द्वारा उन्हें राजर्षि की उपाधि अर्पण की। छत्रपति शिवाजी महाराज के रयत के राज की विरासत को उन्होंने आगे बढ़ाया। राष्ट्रपिता ज्योतिबा फुले जी की संकल्पनाओं को अपने राज्य में प्रत्यक्ष रूप से लागू किया। शोषित पीड़ित समुदाय का अपने राज्य में शासन प्रशासन में प्रतिनिधित्व सुनिश्चित किया। कृषि, शिक्षा, स्वास्थ्य, उद्योग, व्यापार, कलाचार एवं सभ्यता, इन सभी क्षेत्रों में उन्होंने विशेष कार्य किया। अपने 25 वर्ष के कार्यकाल में उन्होंने विज्ञानवादी सोच के आधार पर सामाजिक क्रांति को अग्रसर किया, जिन्होंने अपने राज्य में नारी आज़ादी को महत्व दिया, ब्राह्मणवाद से कड़ा संघर्ष किया। ऐसे महान लोक राजा का आज स्मृति शताब्दी दिवस है। जी हाँ, आज हमारे लोक राजा राजर्षि छत्रपति शाहू जी महाराज का परिनिर्वाण दिवस है। 6 मई 1922 को उनका परिनिर्वाण हुआ था और 2022 यह उनका स्मृति शताब्दी वर्ष है। भारत के सच्चे इतिहास में ऐसे राजा बहुत ही कम हैं जिनका सभी लोग स्मरण करते हैं। अशोक महान, छत्रपति शिवाजी महाराज, राजर्षि शाहू महाराज, इनके जैसे जनहित में अपना जीवन, परिवार एवं सत्ता तक समर्पण करने वाले दुर्लभ या अपवाद कहे जाने वाले राजा प्रथम पंक्ति में बहुत ही कम नजर आते हैं। लोक राजा राजर्षि शाहू महाराज का मूल नाम यशवंत था। वे सरदार आबा साहेब अर्थात जयसिंहराव घाड़गे के सुपुत्र थे। उन्हें कोल्हापुर की राजगद्दी के लिए वारिस के तौर पर गोद लेकर उनका नामकरण शाहू कर दिया गया। अन्य राज्यों की तरह कोल्हापुर राज्य भी ब्रिटिशों के अधीन था और इसी कारण ब्रिटिशों ने उन्हें राज कारोबार चलाने की शिक्षा एवं प्रशिक्षण देने की उचित व्यवस्था अपने तरीके से की थी। सही समय पर अर्थात 1897 में कोल्हापुर राज्य की बागडोर उनके यानी शाहू जी के हाथ सौंप दी। कोल्हापुर राज्य की बागडोर हाथ आते ही शाहू जी महाराज ने 1899 में राज्य के प्रधान दीवान के पद पर ब्राह्मण व्यक्ति के स्थान पर भास्करराव जाधव इस मराठा गैर ब्राह्मण व्यक्ति की नियुक्ति कर डाली और यहीं से क्रांतिकारी संघर्ष शुरू हुआ। जब शाहू जी महाराज ने कोल्हापुर राज्य का कामकाज संभाला, उस दौरान सामान्य प्रशासन में कुल 71 पदों में से 60 पदों पर ब्राह्मण अधिकारी आसीन थे, जबकि शेष 11 पदों पर पिछड़ी जाति के लोग थे। सन 1901 में घटी वेदोक्त की घटना ने लोक राजा शाहू जी महाराज को जड़मूल से झंझोड़ दिया। वेदोक्त की घटना में उनके समग्र अधिकार और अस्तित्व को ही ब्राह्मणों ने चुनौती दे डाली। इस वेदोक्त प्रकरण में उनके खिलाफ लोकमान्य कहे जाने वाले बाल गंगाधर तिलक ब्राह्मणों का नेतृत्व कर रहे थे। इस संघर्ष में शाहू जी महाराज का साथ दिया सत्यशोधक समाज के कार्यकर्ताओं ने। शाहू महाराज की वेदोक्त पूजा को नकारने वाले राजोपाध्याय व शंकराचार्य के वतनों को उन्होंने खारिज किया, तो यह प्रकरण ब्राह्मण वर्ग ने वायसराय तक ले गए, लेकिन विजय शाहू महाराज की ही हुई। इस पृष्ठभूमि पर जब उन्होंने चिंतन अध्ययन किया, तब राष्ट्रपिता ज्योतिबा फुले जी द्वारा दिए गए सुझाव के अनुसार शासन प्रशासन में सभी के लिए उचित प्रतिनिधित्व के मामले पर उन्होंने अपना ध्यान केंद्रित किया। सन 1902 में 26 जुलाई को उन्होंने समस्त पिछड़े वर्ग को 50% आरक्षण घोषित करने वाला आदेश ही प्रकाशित कर दिया। यह आदेश उन्होंने अपने जन्म दिवस 26 जून को जनता के प्रति कृतज्ञता के रूप में जारी किया था। इस आदेश में उन्होंने पहली बार पिछड़े वर्ग को स्पष्ट रूप से परिभाषित करते हुए लिखा कि ब्राह्मण, प्रभु, शेणवी, पारसी और तत्सम अगड़े जातियों को छोड़कर अन्य सभी जाति के लोगों को पिछड़ा समझा जाए। उन्होंने केवल यह आदेश ही जारी नहीं किया, बल्कि इस पर कड़ाई से अमल भी किया। पिछड़े वर्ग को आरक्षण की घोषणा के साथ उस पर ईमानदारी से अमल करने वाली योजनाओं का भी उन्होंने नए सिरे से सूत्रपात किया। धार्मिक क्षेत्र से लेकर उद्योग क्षेत्र तक सभी जगह अधिक से अधिक पिछड़े वर्ग का प्रतिनिधित्व सुनिश्चित करते हुए कठोरता से इस पर अमल किया। इस तरह शाहूजी महाराज ने शोषक एवं शोषित की पहचान को आधिकारिक रूप से घोषित कर एक क्रांतिकारी एवं सामाजिक संघर्ष की पहल कर दी। उन्होंने यह पाया कि उनके राज्य में शासन, प्रशासन, शिक्षा, धर्म, कृषि, स्वास्थ्य, उद्योग, व्यापार, क्रीड़ा आदि क्षेत्रों में ब्राह्मण एवं तत्सम जातियों का ही वर्चस्व है। इस बात को समझकर उन्होंने पिछड़े वर्ग, जिसे आज हम SC, ST, OBC के तौर पर जानते हैं, इन सभी को सन 1902 से लेकर सन 1922 तक 20 वर्ष के कालावधि में जनसंख्या के अनुपात में भागीदारी दे दी और ब्राह्मण एवं तत्सम जातियों के एक तरफा वर्चस्व को खारिज कर दिया। धार्मिक क्षेत्र में उन्होंने कई सारे बदलाव लाए। सदाशिव लक्ष्मण पाटिल अर्थात बेनाडीकर पाटिल इस मराठा व्यक्ति को करवीर पीठ का निर्माण करते हुए शंकराचार्य पद पर नियुक्त कर दिया। ब्राह्मणशाही के जाल से समाज को मुक्त किए बगैर उच्च जातियों का धार्मिक व सामाजिक वर्चस्व समाप्त नहीं होगा, यह उनका मानना था। ब्राह्मणशाही के पौरोहित्य को खारिज करते हुए उन्होंने ब्राह्मणेतर पुरोहितों का निर्माण करने हेतु अलग से प्रशिक्षण की व्यवस्था की। अपने राज्य में उन्होंने नारी अधिकारों को अधिक महत्व दिया। उन्होंने तलाक व विधवा विवाह, विवाह पंजीकरण, अंतरजातीय विवाह, महिला विरोधी अत्याचार के रोक आदि संदर्भों में कानून बनाए और उसे कड़ाई से लागू भी किया। उन्होंने आर्य समाज व थियोसॉफिकल सोसाइटी के साथ साथ सत्यशोधक समाज को अपने राज्य में प्रोत्साहन दिया। लेकिन हम देख सकते हैं कि अपने राज्य में उन्होंने लिए अनेक निर्णयों पर सत्यशोधक विचारों का ही प्रभाव रहा। उन्होंने डॉक्टर बाबा साहेब अम्बेडकर को सामाजिक परिवर्तन के कार्य में पूरा साथ सहयोग दिया। माणगांव की परिषद में उन्होंने कहा था कि डॉक्टर अम्बेडकर किसी एक जाति के नेता नहीं हैं, बल्कि पूरे भारत का नेतृत्व है। एक दिन आएगा जब डॉक्टर अम्बेडकर पूरे देश का नेतृत्व करेंगे, यह मेरा विश्वास है। जाति व्यवस्था को तोड़ते हुए गंगाराम कामले को चाय की होटल खुलवाकर उद्योग के लिए आमजनों को प्रेरणा दी। अपने राज्य में अनेक उद्योगों को शुरू कराया। अपने संस्थान की सभी सार्वजनिक जगहों पर छुआछूत को उन्होंने कानूनन पाबंदी लगा दी। घुमंतु फास्पार्दियों को अपना अंगरक्षक चुनकर उनकी प्राकृतिक वीरता को सुअवसर दिया। इसी के चलते उन पर तथाकथित ऊंचे वर्ग के आतंकवादियों ने 3 बार खूनी हमले कराए, लेकिन शाहू महाराज की सतर्कता और जनता का उनके प्रति गहरा प्रेम तथा विश्वास रहते वे जीवित रहे। शिक्षा को लेकर उन्होंने कई योजनाओं को शुरू किया। अपने राज्य में प्राथमिक शिक्षा को निःशुल्क और अनिवार्य किया। छात्रों के लिए राज्य में अनेकों छात्रावास, विद्यालय, महाविद्यालय शुरू किए। सभी जातियों और स्त्री पुरुषों को समान शिक्षा को लेकर उन्होंने बढ़ावा दिया। अपने राज्य के बाहर भी उन्होंने शिक्षा को बढ़ावा देने हेतु कार्य किया। अपने कार्यकाल में शाहूजी महाराज ने सहकार क्षेत्र, राधानगरी डैम परियोजना जैसे बड़े बड़े कार्यों को भी नया आयाम देते हुए भारत के समृद्ध भविष्य की नींव भी डाली। चित्र, कला, संगीत, भारतीय खेल, इन सभी बातों में उनकी विशेष रुचि रहने के कारण कलाकार और खिलाड़ियों को उन्होंने उदारता से राजाश्रय देकर उनका मनोबल बढ़ाया। स्वास्थ्य के क्षेत्र में भी उन्होंने प्रतिबंधात्मक उपायों का अनूठा नियोजन कर दिया, जिसके चलते उनके कार्यकाल में उनके अपने क्षेत्र में प्लेग जैसी वैश्विक महामारी को काबू में रखा। आज कोरोना की वैश्विक महामारी में उनके इस अनूठे प्रबंधन को समझना बहुत जरूरी है। तो ऐसे थे हमारे राजर्षि शाहूजी महाराज, जनता के बीच रहने वाले, जनता का दुख दर्द जानने वाले, अपने आप को जनता के प्रतिनिधि मानने वाले। तभी तो लोग उन्हें लोक राजा कहते हैं। सामाजिक लोकतंत्र का आदर्श उन्होंने अपने कार्यों से स्थापित किया। आज उनका स्मृति दिवस है। 100 साल पहले इसी तारीख को मुंबई में उन्होंने उम्र के 48 वर्ष में ही अंतिम श्वास लिया। उनके इस स्मृति शताब्दी वर्ष को हमने सामाजिक लोकतंत्र निर्माण संकल्प वर्ष के तौर पर घोषित करते हुए संकल्पित होकर स्वयं को इस कार्य में समर्पित करना चाहिए। यही उनके लिए हमारा सच्चा अभिवादन होगा। जय शाहू, जय संविधान, जय भारत।
Saili, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Saili.
Can I ask a question now?
Yes, you can proceed with your segment. If possible, please turn on your camera.
Actually, I'm outside.
Okay, no problem.
Ma'am, can I ask this question in Hindi?
Yes, whichever language you're comfortable in.
Yeah. Thank you. First of all, welcome everyone. My name is Saili Wagmale and I'm from Pune, and I asked some question to you. First question is, शाहू महाराज ने किन किन क्षेत्र में विशेष कार्य किया?
सामाजिक, एजुकेशनल, शैक्षणिक, सहकार एंड विधवा विवाह उन्होंने करवाए।
राधानगरी डैम बनवाया था। बोर्डिंग निकाले थे बहुत सारे, और स्कूल्स
प्राइमरी एजुकेशन फॉर ऑल द कंपल्सरी किया एंड इट्स अ फ्री ऑफ कॉस्ट फॉर एवरीवन। डॉक्टर बाबा साहेब अम्बेडकर की मानगांव परिषद में वो गए एंड दे हैव मींस उन्होंने ऐसे बोला कि डॉक्टर बाबा साहेब अम्बेडकर विल बी द लीडर ऑफ इंडिया, नॉट फॉर द स्पेसिफिक मींस वो एक कास्ट के नहीं है तो वो सब भारत के लीडर रहेंगे। एंड यस,
रिजर्वेशन आल्सो 50% रिजर्वेशन।
उन्होंने बिजनेस के लिए भी लोगों को प्रोत्साहित किया और बिजनेस भी ओपन करवाने के तरीके भी बताए उन्होंने।
यस, आई थिंक सो मारुति कांबळे को उन्होंने एक छोटा बिजनेस स्टार्ट करने के लिए दिया एंड आई हैव हर्ड कि वो वहां पे जाते थे, वहां पे जाके वो जो भी बिजनेस था, जो उनकी शायद कॉफी शॉप या कुछ तो भी चाय का था, तो वहां पे जाके चाय भी पीते थे।
अच्छा, राइट। सेकंड क्वेश्चन इज, उन्होंने किसको ज्यादा महत्व दिया?
रिजर्वेशन,
उन्होंने शिक्षण को ज्यादा महत्व दिया, जो कि लोग पढ़ेंगे तो रिजर्वेशन तो ऑटोमेटिकली आगे आ ही जाएगा, मगर शिक्षण सबको प्राइमरी कंपलसरी किया था। उन्होंने शिक्षण के लिए ज्यादा महत्व दिया था।
इन 1897 कोल्हापुर राज्य की बागडोर उन्होंने किसके हाथ सौंप दी?
एक मराठा व्यक्ति था, पाटिल, आई थिंक सो, पाटिल नाम है उनका।
ओके, सामान्य प्रशासन में कितने पद थे?
72 एंड 60 उन्होंने फिर 72 थे ना टोटल सामान्य प्रशासन में।
सिक्स्थ क्वेश्चन, संघर्ष में शाहू जी महाराज को किसने साथ दिया? मतलब उन्होंने जो संघर्ष
सत्यशोधक समाज। सत्यशोधक समाज के लोगों ने उन्होंने ज्यादा में सहयोग किया और सामाजिक संघर्ष।
हाँ ऐसा। आतंकवादियों ने कितने बार हमला कर दिया था?
3 बार।
हाँ। उन्होंने किस चीज को बढ़ावा दिया ज्यादा?
शिक्षण, एजुकेशन, रिजर्वेशन, इंटरकास्ट मैरिज, बिजनेस, सबको देने के लिए, बहुजन के हित में।
अच्छा अच्छा। शिक्षा को लेकर उन्होंने कौन सी योजनाएं शुरू की?
बोर्डिंग स्टार्ट किए
हाँ।
एंड प्राइमरी एजुकेशन फ्री फॉर एवरीवन एंड कंपलसरी किया फॉर ऑल। एंड उन्होंने फॉरेन में भी वही एजुकेशन के लिए फैसिलिटीज प्रोवाइड किया, मींस वहां से भी स्टार्ट किया।
हाँ। किसके होटल खोलकर उद्योग के लिए आम लोगों को प्रेरणा दी?
मारुति कांबळे है।
उन्होंने किस शहर में अंतिम श्वास लिया?
मुंबई।
उन्हें लोक राजा क्यों कहते हैं?
बिकॉज उनका सामाजिक जीवन जो भी है उन्होंने लोकहित के लिए किया, सो दैट्स व्हाई उनको लोक राजा कहते हैं।
निवासी भाई गाए, मूल निवासी भाई गाए, राजा शाहू के गुणगान, राजा शाहू के गुणगान। मूल निवासी भाई गाए, मूल निवासी भाई गाए, राजा शाहू के गुणगान, राजा शाहू के गुणगान। राजाओं में राजा थे, राजाओं में राजा थे, राजर्षि बड़े महान, राजर्षि बड़े महान, मूल निवासी भाई गाए, मूल निवासी भाई गाए, राजा शाहू के गुणगान, राजा शाहू के गुणगान।
So thank you, Saili, and everybody from the audiences who participated in the previous segment. I am sure you learned a lot from the last segment and took home some knowledge with you. Next up, we have our expert talk. For this, we have Prajwal Thool sir, who will be guiding us on educational opportunities abroad. Prajwal Thool sir is one of our mentors, and he's from the US. So I would request sir to please come forward and proceed with his session. Sir, are you there?
Hey Sambodhi, hi. Jai
Hello,
Bhim,
sir.
everyone. Can you guys
Sir,
hear
you
me all
can-
right?
Yes, yes, sir. So you can begin.
Hey, can I present my slide deck? Can I share my screen?
Vedya sir,
Yes.
I should be able to, right? Okay, let me see. Are you guys able to see my screen?
yes,
जी
sir.
सर।
Okay, perfect. Thank you. So first of all, Jai Bhim, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone. One thing that I wanted to first ask, हिंदी में बात बीच बीच में मैं कर सकता हूँ. I'm not very fluent. So is everyone okay with English?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Thank you. So first of all, I'm representing here not as an individual, but I am part of this wonderful organization called Global Empower Network. I don't know how many of you know what Global Empower Network is, so I'll provide a little bit of overview, and then sort of dive down onto some of the nuances of higher education. So a little bit about myself. So my name is Prajwal Thool, and I'm currently based out of South San Francisco. I have been living in the US for the past 10 years, and professionally, I work as a senior scientific researcher at a global biopharmaceutical company called Genentech. And whenever I get some spare time, I mentor, counsel, and guide students for higher studies, both in premier institutions in India as well as across the globe. So I have been affiliated with Global Empower Network for the past many years. And what Global Empower Network is, it is an initiative of socially responsible people. And we believe in the innate capacity of education to empower marginalized communities. And so with this, mission of developing just, harmonious, and socially responsible communities, that we undertake various initiatives and advocacies related to education. For those of you who know about Gen, we have a wonderful community of about close to 1,500 students on, and also mentors on the Telegram group. We also have presence on various WhatsApp groups, although they run in silos. And then we also have a wonderful community on LinkedIn. What we do is we offer guidance, mentorship, counseling on higher studies for students who are already, in various countries. We offer them guidance on getting internships, also full-time jobs. And most of our students come from, very marginalized communities. So this is a general overview of Global Empower Network. And my topic for today, and firstly I'd like to extend my deepest gratitude to the IQ Youth Club and Mr. Uttam Vaidya for giving me this opportunity to talk about the opportunities that lie in outside of India, especially through the realms of education. So why should somebody study outside of India? I mean, broadly speaking, I would say, this is a very, very big topic, but three things that sort of stand out are the following. One is to be competent in this 21st century workforce, we need to acquire in-demand skills and knowledge. And this can be attained at leading global universities, which teach curricula that is both cutting edge and that is sort of current. A lot of Indian institutions, even the premier Indian institutions like the IITs, they don't update their curricula as often, and so that becomes a big challenge. Recently I was reading some report somewhere that I think large sections of the Indian engineers, about 70% of them are unemployable, not because we don't have opportunities, it is because they don't have the necessary skill sets. So I think one of the key things that a student should always remember is, in order to realize their true potential, as Baba Sahib himself did by pursuing his master's and his PhD from Columbia University and from London School of Economics, is that you sort of transform into this future leader, right? And that is possible at a institution in US or UK very easily, because you could collaborate with peers who come from this diverse set of backgrounds, and people who possess diverse set of skill sets, which perhaps we may not be able to sort of realize it in our home countries, because most of us come from the same set of background, the same set of upbringing, and the same set of values. So it becomes very monotonous. In order to have this enriching experience, also to sort of experience different cultures, you should take that step, that leap. And if you get an opportunity, you should certainly pursue your higher studies in one of the leading global universities, and evolve yourself into a responsible leader. And with that, you should aim to become a future leader. And of course, one of the key takeaways I think a lot of people also exploit is to immigrate into an egalitarian society. I won't say that societies are perfect in the West, but Baba Sahib, when he first landed in 1913 in Colombia, he for the first time said that he experienced what it means to be free, what it means to be equal. So I think these are some key broad takeaways why one should consider studying outside of India in leading global universities.
Sorry to interrupt, Prajwal Bhau. The
Yes.
first slide is only appearing. Are you showing a slideshow?
Oh, you are not. My
Yeah.
slides are not advancing.
Only one. First one is appearing. I think you can put it on slideshow. I don't know. Yes.
Can you see them now?
Now why study abroad? This slide is presented. Yes. Please go ahead, sir. Thank you.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Are the slides advancing now?
Now, yes.
I think it's not the presentation mode, Prajwal.
Okay, let me see. Can you see it?
Make your slideshow. That would
Yeah,
be.
this is what I've done. Are the slides advancing now?
No, only our endowments. That slide is.
Can you see the next one? I just
No.
changed it.
No.
Okay.
Or
This is
close it
something
and
We
again.
don't see the presentation mode. You're sharing the whole screen. Maybe you can do that.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Sir, do one thing.
doing.
You just disconnect and share it again. Means you just stop the
Okay,
sharing and share it again.
let me do that. Yeah, sorry about that. Okay, let me do my entire screen.
Yeah. Yes, that would be the fine. Otherwise, okay.
Okay, can you guys see it now?
Now it's clear. Yes, yes. Okay.
Okay, so they are advancing, right? Advancing?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, perfect. Okay, sorry about that. Anyways, so yeah, so I mean, I would briefly touch base on some of our endowments, some of the key, personnel from our community who have sort of, shown on this, global platform. You may have all come across Mr. Snehal Fuljale. You know, he sort of, started from a very humble, background. I think from Bhandara district. Went to Zilla Parishad school, then sort of transitioned to IIM Calcutta. Then, he sort of had this, what do I say, realization that, hey, I have to go to the US. And then he went to Carnegie Mellon. It is there where he met, like-minded people who sort of shared similar vision, similar ideas as himself, and founded this amazing company called Cloud Lending. It is a fintech company which he later sold for a staggering $144 million. He is currently the founder and CEO of another fintech company called Cyan Digital. And he has been doing incredibly amazing things. I mean, recently when I spoke to him, he invested about, or rather, he's investing about 100 crores in Pune and hiring about 400 people. Likewise, we have Mr. Rohit and Sunit Kajbhiye. They both are IIT Bombay alumni, and they're co-founders at Finance Peer. This is another fintech company, and they were recently able to raise about 31 million US dollars. I think a lot of you also know Mr. Suraj Yengde, Miss Vinaya Khobragade, and Mr. Anil Wagde, and the list goes on and on. One thing, that sort of links these people to, their success is, their sort of, ability to realize that there are opportunities that are outside of India, not just through the avenues of education, but also through employment. But for that to happen, you have to ensure one thing, which is you need to be good at whatever you're doing. If you're a student, you have to excel in your academics. Go to good institutions. There are no shortcuts, of course, to success. People can still come to the US without having great education, without having amazing GRE scores and all. But perhaps you may not be able to excel. So we should, leverage our endowments. They're very much open to showing us the path to success, something that they have sort of, carved out for themselves. And one great quality of a leader is always willing to share the formula of success success with others, and these people are very open to sharing their resources. They're open to providing guidance and mentorship to whoever is in need. In fact, Mrs. Nehal Fuljale is going to start his venture capitalist company only for folks who come from Bahujan background or people who are underrepresented. So this is a great step, and a person like him can realize that because he came from the same set of hustle. He understood what kind of challenges are there. If you go to any of the startups, you would see that a lot of startups are still sort of what do I say, like founded by people who come from the so-called upper caste, privileged background, and we somehow don't get those sort of opportunities, even though there is no dearth of talent or expertise in our community. So these are some of our endowments. Now, as far as the various funding options are concerned, if a student is interested in pursuing his or her higher education outside of India, of course, there are education loans. They're majorly divided into two buckets. One is the conventional loan, which you could leverage by putting something as a collateral. Typically, banks have established fixed assets like a house or land, non-agricultural land, I believe, as a collateral. And you can avail an education loan which covers both tuition as well as living expenditure for the intended school of your choice. However, if you come from a very humble background, if you don't have the resources to attain higher studies outside of India, but are very sharp, there are private companies and also to an extent public banks which offer collateral free loans. However, public banks like Bank of India, SBI, or Bank of Baroda, they could provide collateral free loans, which means that you don't have to put any land or any kind of asset against the loan that you are availing. And the public banks can provide up to 7.5 lakh rupees, which in my opinion is, it's irrelevant. But there are private companies which can provide loans up to 40 lakh rupees. And I think if you are smart enough and if you believe that the return on investment on the program that you are intending to study could help you offset the loan amount, by all means you should avail a collateral free loan. And I believe most collateral free loans are given to STEM programs. By the way, just one request: if you have any questions for me, please feel free to stop me and ask me questions, so that this becomes more of a conversation than sort of a presentation. So any questions from anybody? Yeah, if not, I can take questions at the end. I heard somebody say something.
Prajwal sir, I have one question.
Sure, yeah.
So is it a 7.5 lakhs? This much amount is sufficient for taking education, particularly higher education abroad? Is it 7.5 lakhs is sufficient?
No, it is not, and that's why the collateral free loan option provided by the public banks is, yeah, it's just a gimmick in my opinion. But I think you can avail multiple loans. Like if you have availed a private loan from private bank, and for some reason if you need a little more money, let's say for living expenses, then perhaps you could avail the public bank loan just to offset some of the other costs. But no, yeah, it's not sufficient. Yeah, so anyways, and there are other options too for funding. So one thing is the academic scholarships or the college aids. provided by the universities themselves. So this is a little, tedious, I would say. You need to be very, very smart. You need to be exemplary in order to avail these academic scholarships or college aids, but it is not impossible. And most of the times I have seen these kind of scholarships, provided to students after they have finished their first semester. So for the first semester, at least you need to have adequate funds to cover the tuition as well as the living expenditure. However, once you have sort of finished your first semester and demonstrated that you are a good student, then you can avail the academic scholarships provided by the colleges or the departments. And I don't know how many of you are aware, but there are a lot of government sponsored scholarship programs in place. One scholarship that I could list out here is the National Overseas Scholarship. This scholarship is provided by the Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment, and there are some broad criterias to avail this scholarship. There is this link that I could sort of paste in the chat box so that you can take a look. So, this scholarship is good if you don't have any other avenue, but the scholarship has its own limitations. First, I mean, the criteria. So the annual gross income of the family should be less than 8 lakh rupees. So if your family, which includes yourself, your parents, if you have any working members in the family, uh, combined income, if the combined income is less than 8 lakh rupees, then you are eligible to apply for the scholarship. The other criterias are you need to get into a QS ranking university that is less than 500. You need to have undergrad aggregate of 60% or more, and your age limit is specified as like 35 or less. So if you fall under this, then you can avail the National Overseas Scholarship. There are about 125 seats, out of which 115 are reserved for the scheduled caste category, and the rest are for scheduled tribes and nomads and people who have no land and so on and so forth. The limitations with National Overseas Scholarship is when you transition from being a student to a professional, you have to change your visa status. So in the US, for example, if you avail the National Overseas Scholarship, you are given a J1 visa. It's an exchange visitor, student visa. What that entails to is once you finish your studies and if you get an employment, you have to transition from that J visa to a work visa. And unfortunately, for that to happen, you have to get a no objection certificate or a NOC from the ministry. And unfortunately, the ministry does not give you the NOC. So once you finish your program and once you exhaust your student visa, you have to go back to your home country. But if you are from a very humble background and if you don't have any means, any resources, you might as well just experience what it feels like to be in a country and avail great education and perhaps go back and maybe get better what do I say, like professional opportunities by the virtue of your higher studies. Then lastly, a lot of people don't realize this, but PhD admissions are typically fully funded. And for this, you don't have to have a master's degree. So if you have an undergrad degree and if you come from good institution, and if you especially belong to the STEM discipline and have availed some work experience, and if you are in the research field and have published some kind of paper in a reputed journal, you could apply for a PhD program directly after having finished your undergrad education in India, and that could be a gateway to a great country, a global leading university, and you don't have to pay a dime. In fact, you would be, paid stipend. So these are some of the funding options that you could leverage. Any questions on this? And of course, there are many other, scholarship, programs in place. The Maharashtra government has their own scholarship. Every state government has their own scholarship program in place. You could Google, or I will provide some more resources using which you can get connected with Global Empower Network, and we facilitate resources and tools so that you make an empowered and informed decision. So moving on.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hello.
sir, I have one question. So I
Sure.
wanted to ask how much of the college fees can be covered with this loan?
How much college fee can be covered through the scholarship?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you're not audible.
Okay, I will type.
Hello.
Hello.
Can
Okay,
you
sir, I'm
please repeat the
typing.
question again? Okay. Can somebody please read that question for me?
Yes, sir, she hasn't sent the question yet.
Okay.
Okay.
In the meantime,
Uh, so Satyata is saying how much of the college fees can be covered with the scholarship as well as with loans? That's a question.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, typically the scholarships are, for master's programs. You can avail the scholarship up to 3 years, and the scholarship covers your entire tuition and living expense. So they also give you about, I think, $15,000 US dollars, or Vishal, do you know the number? I think it's 15,000 US dollars for your living and for food and other expenses. So it's a very comprehensive scholarship. You don't have to spend any money out of your pocket. And the scholarship also covers your visa fees. It also covers your flight tickets and so on. So it's a very, very comprehensive scholarship. As far as the collateral free education loan is concerned, I think depending on the program and the university that you're applying to, it may vary. I've heard like you can get up to 40 lakhs. Some people say that you can get more than that, depending on the program and the university that you are getting into. So yeah, it depends. And if you are sort of availing an education loan by sort of having a collateral, then I think based on how much collateral you are pledging, you can avail a loan. Does that answer your question? Hello.
Yes, he's saying yes. He has written in
Okay.
the chat box. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Any other questions from anybody?
Hi, Prajwal.
Hi.
Yeah, so I'm Ritesh. Actually, I joined lately. So actually, I'm pursuing my PhD in IIT Roorkee at present. So I'm in first year. So I'm looking for students exchange program. So I can get it through my college also. So like, is there anything which I can know from you regarding this?
Yeah. So I mean, do you know Dr. Kirtiraj Gaikwad, by the way?
No, but I can search about him. Yeah, Kirti Raj Gaikwad. Okay, I will search about
Yeah.
him.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I mean, a good friend at IIT Roorkee. He's now an assistant professor. So as far as the exchange program is concerned, there are few things that you could do. One is look for collaborators who could help you, in your research endeavors. So I don't know, what is your discipline, but just to, just for the sake of argument, let's say if you're pursuing your PhD in computer sciences, and you are researching in one area, let's say, human computers interaction, and you find that there are, of course, there will be like so many professors who would be researching on the same topic. If you find somebody who could benefit from the work that you are doing, because you have a unique, proprietary tool or something which the other professor cannot otherwise leverage, and vice versa, you can collaborate. And by the virtue of this partnership, you can then go visit his lab, and if the professor happens to be in Europe or Australia or US or Canada, you can avail the visa very easily. So collaborations are one way to sort of avail these exchange program privileges. Other than that, if your university has any collaboration, a lot of Indian institutes now have collaboration with institutes that are present in the Gulf countries, where you do first year education in India, and then you go there and then pursue 1 year education in the Gulf countries. So I mean, if your school has some arrangement in place, then that is another option that you could leverage. But if your school or university or professor do not have such things in place, then the best thing to do is reaching out to people who work in similar discipline as yourself, or in a discipline where you are interested in advancing your research area in, and reaching out to them, telling them that, hey, you are doing this, and you are interested in their research. Is there a way that you two could collaborate? And by the virtue of that understanding, you could go and then perhaps work in the school where wherever the school is situated, for a year or 2 years, or whatever the arrangement that you have with them. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, thank you so much, Prajwal. It was wonderful.
Sure. And yeah, and I'll share the link to the Gen Telegram group later. You guys, I think if you're interested in connecting with us, please feel free to download the app and then use the link to join the group. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
So moving on, yeah, thank you. So moving on, I mean, some helpful tips which I sort of collated here, for people who want to navigate through this journey. And if you are early in your career, be it 12th or undergrad, I would say you should start early. The earlier, the better. If you are determined, and if you know that you have to pursue your higher studies in the US or some of the leading universities across the globe, start early. The earlier the better, I say, because GRE and GMAT, the scores are valid for about 5 years. So if you start your preparation in second year, and by third year if you give your test, depending on the score that you get, you can either have that or leverage that time as a buffer to re-prepare and give the test, or you can keep the test handy and go for job experience and whatnot, and then apply to good universities or great universities, I would say. For GRE and GMAT, I would say aim for high scores, like as high as you can possibly max out your sort of caliber, right? If you're aiming for a discipline such as computer sciences, which is very, very cutthroat, and especially in the US, getting into computer sciences and good schools can be very daunting, especially given the fact that a lot of IITs or IITians from India end up in the US. And so you would be competing against those people. So if you do not have that IIT tag, you are anyways, disadvantaged, even with or without the GRE, right? So, but then in order to sort of, have that level playing field without having the tag, aim for as high GRE score as possible. Indians typically tend to do very well in the quant section of the GRE. So GRE, as you know, is divided into two parts, verbal and quant. And verbal, section accounts for about 170 points, whereas quant 170. So out of 340, if you could max out your, quant score of 168 plus, then verbal, which is very, very difficult and daunting for a lot of Indian students, you don't have to emphasize a whole lot. I mean, I'm not saying that you neglect that part, but it'll become a little easy. Ideally, for computer sciences and for STEM disciplines, I always encourage students to score at least 320 plus, uh, with an emphasis on the quant portion. And the second thing that you should do before applying to any program is networking. You need to network, start talking to people. When I say people, it could be students who are currently in institutions where you want to be, or professors under whom you want to sort of work. So start networking, talk to them, put yourself out there. And when they know that, okay, this person is so and so and he has so and so profile, even if they don't reply or respond to your emails, they somehow know that, okay, somebody by this name had reached out to me. So you need to network extensively. General rule of thumb is, if you reach out to 100 professors, there is a likelihood that you may get a response from one individual. So that's how tedious it is, because you're not the only individual who is reaching out to the professor. There are so many other students who would be, right? But having said that, network as much as possible, not just with the professors, but also with the students, current and former, and reach out to them. Your alumni, if you're from a university and if you know that your seniors are outside of India in good schools, talk to them. That network will help you go places. Secondly, oftentimes neglected area, which students sort of falter or make a very I would say rash decision, is the course that they apply to. Oftentimes they don't look at the return on investment, especially if you're paying the money out of your pocket. You need to focus on STEM programs. I'm not saying that you need to focus, I mean, you can also go into non-STEM programs, but look at the return on investment. If I am investing 40 lakh rupees into a program, how much money can I make, right, in a year or 2 years, in 3 years? Typically, I have seen students who come to the US on education loan are able to pay off 60-70 lakh rupees of loan in 2 years. So the odds are very high, but the rewards are also equally better. So return on investment is one thing that you need to always look into while choosing a course, a university, and also a country. How would you know, which programs give you good returns? Talk to the admissions coordinator. Every university will have a admissions coordinator. The admissions coordinator is tasked with the job of satisfying students and their queries. Ask them questions on like, hey, how many international students were employed after finishing their program? What was the average salary a student was able to land after finishing this course? How many were able to repay their loans? All those numbers they should have. And if they can't provide you those numbers, reach out to students. Somewhere you should be able to find those things. Also look at programs that offer internship opportunities. I recently was made aware that all the prestigious universities in the US have inbuilt internship opportunities. What does that mean? That means that you don't even have to look for an internship opportunity. If you are admitted to the program, of course, these programs are very, very competitive. I'm talking about something like University of Michigan at Ann Arbor, or University of California at Berkeley. So all these great universities, they have this inbuilt internship opportunity program in disciplines such as computer sciences and whatnot, where companies want to have these students. as their future employees maybe. And so they would be like, hey, while you are a student, we will give you opportunities, come join us. So things like that. But getting into those schools is equally daunting, but you should make every effort into landing into one of those schools. Next, as I said, like apply to PhD programs. You don't need to have a MS degree. This is often mistaken that people think that this is a stepping progression where you need to do a bachelor's followed by a master's and a PhD. It's not required. You can do a bachelor's and apply for a PhD program directly. Of course, it's very tough, but it is still doable, especially if you come from good schools and like the IITs and some of the national institutes, and have some work experience and have published some papers. You can directly apply for a PhD program, which is A, fully funded, B, reduces your or saves your time. And yeah, I think there can't be anything better than that. And one thing which you should also do is apply to 2-year MS degree programs. A lot of times students go to universities like the Oxford University or Cambridge. I mean, great universities, no doubt. But these universities offer a 1-year degree program. I mean, most of the UK universities or European universities do that. Now there are some downsides to it. For whatever reason, if you have to come back to India, your degree may not be considered equivalent to the MS degree in India or US. And the reason being, these degree programs are not 2-year programs; they are 1-year programs. Also, I have seen for government opportunities, the 2-year degree program could be a requirement. They could clearly list that, hey, you need to have a 2-year master's degree program in order for us to consider you as an applicant. So that is another thing. And as far as getting into or choosing a country is concerned, I would say broadly there are three things. First, go to a country where there are good professional opportunities. As I was talking about Snehal Fuljale and other people, the Gajbhai brothers. I mean, all these people went to countries where they knew or where they saw these great opportunities, the innovation hubs. US, for example, all these big companies, even the Chinese companies like Alibaba and whatnot. I mean, these people, they leveraged US as a platform. They came here, they studied, they sort of worked here, they understood the system, then they went back. I think you need to get into countries where these opportunities are possible, where you meet great people. Go to countries where there are good natural resources. I mean, often overlooked, but this is now a reality, right? I mean, resources are scarce, and you need to plan for long-term, goals, or you need to have long-term goals. For example, US has like abundant natural resources. They can be self-sustained. And lastly, you need to go to countries where they are democratically governed. Don't get into countries like recent example Ukraine, right? I mean, a lot of Indian students go there to pursue their MBBS courses. You never know what would happen. I mean, I'm not saying that Ukraine was not democratically governed, but the adjacent countries like Russia and the geopolitical things. I mean, these things may not seem material enough now, but you never know how material they can be, in days or time or months. So some helpful tips here. And then lastly, these are some of the ways that you could use to connect with us. There is, of course, the website. You could go on globalempowernetwork.org, but I would share this resource with you. Please download this app called Telegram and use this link to join us. And you can leverage incredible amount of resources. You can connect with us 24/7. We have WhatsApp groups. We have a Saturday mentor call on Zoom. This is typically at 6:30 p.m. India time. And then we also have a LinkedIn group called the Global Empower Network. And one last slide. This is our core Gen Mentor team. So we have Rajiv, Anil Wagde, Vishal Jadhav, who is on the call today, Manish Vasnik and Charu Datta. So I mean, we typically are very good, when it comes to sharing resources or making things happen. So if you have any questions, yeah, please feel free to reach out to us either on Telegram or on Zoom. With that, I'd like to stop here. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. Or you can also ask now. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. The session was really very enlightening, and I'm sure a lot of people have taken a lot of things from it. We can surely take the questions at the end of our program. So I would request everyone who has questions to please stay back. Meanwhile, we can move on to the next segment of our program, wherein we are having a panel discussion. The moderator for our panel discussion
पुलिस के मकानों में ये चीज तो मिलती है मुफलिस के मकानों में ये चीज तो मिलती है मुफलिस के मकानों में।
In our next segment, the panel discussion, we are going to have a discussion on the topic waiting for a visa. For the same, we have Harshal Chauhan as our moderator. So I would like to call Harshal. Harshal, are you there with us?
Yes.
Yes, hello, Harshal. You can proceed and take the segment ahead.
So now I'm presenting my screen. So it is visible.
Yes, Harshal, it is.
Yes. Okay. So first of all, thank you to Uttam sir, Vaidya sir, for giving me this opportunity. So this book is a collection of real life incident of Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar. So we will proceed. So waiting for a visa. So the story in these books are vivid and quite heart rendering, and they have been delivered in the most direct form without any changes. So in this book, this book is still used as a textbook, reference book in Columbia University, because in this book the incident which Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar faced in his life is real. So this book is a short but pricey note on how bad a person has been treated in the name of caste in India before century, means all the centuries have been treated. So all the views in these books are based on Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar personal experience. So we have experience in this time of COVID, that how people are people means how they are neglecting to another person, means they have the fear that the front person who is with him, that he is affected with corona, means means now how. Hello.
Yes, yes, you're
Hello.
audible.
Hello.
Hello, Harshal, you are audible.
Yes, I'm audible, no?
Yes, yes, you are.
Okay. So, so we will start with the first incident. So, Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar means when his father worked in army at Koregaon, which was a few miles away from a residence at Dapoli, Ratnagiri. This is the incident when Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar was at the age of 11. So the incident is based that his father means every child has at an inflation to meet his father. At that time, Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar also thought that I also want to meet my father. His father, if his father's if father was hello.
Yes, Harshal, we cannot see your screen.
Uh, yes, ma'am. I got disconnected. No?
Oh, no problem. You can continue.
Okay. So we were talking about the first incident. So the story which means the first incident that Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar faced in his young age was that uh,
Udi, there appears to be some network
yes, sir, I'm facing the
problem.
internet issue.
Okay. Can we go ahead with another section then?
No, sir, I will finish up in 5 minutes.
No worries, no worries. Arshad, please go ahead. Now we can see your screen. Please go ahead.
Yes, sir. Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar wrote a letter to his father that we are
Somebody, it appears some problem is there. So let us move to the next segment, then we'll invite him again. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Somebody?
Okay.
So just the next segment is our quiz.
Yes, right.
Okay,
Sir.
so you can check
So,
Satyata if she is ready. Yeah.
yes. So the next section, next up we have the quiz, and our quiz master for this time is going to be Satyatha. Satyatha, are you there with us? Can you hear me? Satyatha?
Yes.
So are you ready, Satyatha? Can we proceed with the quiz?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay, great.
So hello everyone. We will have a quick fun activity. I will be asking some questions and you all are supposed to answer that and we'll see who will give the most correct answers. So let's begin. So the first question is on the screen. I will read it out. So Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar was born in, you can answer now. You can just type or just unmute yourself.
Madhya Pradesh.
Yes, Madhya Pradesh.
Yeah, so please talk be Madhya Pradesh. And also you can see the points on window. So moving on to the next question. Before that, can you name activity? So the next question is, what was the name of Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar's father?
A.
Yeah. Okay, so we have many answers saying A, so that is correct. So Ramji Mataji Sarkar, Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar's father. So our third question is, when was Dr. Ambedkar given Bharat Ratna? You can see options in the window.
Nakita.
Hitesh is saying B.
D.
Can you repeat, please?
1991.
Ah,
A.
okay, we will check that. Okay.
1990. 1990.
Okay, so people are confused between A and B. So let's see what is the correct answer. So we will be going with what? Can somebody repeat again?
A.
So
1990.
we will be going with A. So let's check if that is correct. Please lock A. Very true. So 1990, the year when Babasaheb Ambedkar received the Bharat Ratna. So it was after his next question. On the bank of which river the written line? So options are on. Answers are coming. Harshal is saying D.
Niranjana Nadi.
Okay.
Niranjan.
And I know your name. Amrapali, right? Okay.
D. D.
So D. Okay. So please lock D. That is also correct. Yes, we know the answer. That is a good one. Next, please.
Niranjan.
What is the literal meaning of Buddha?
A. Option A.
So you can first of all check out all the options and then see. Because in some cases we have like multiple answers.
Option A, the enlightenment.
Sally,
Uh, hello, sir. Hello, sir. Please log option A, the language. That is always correct answer. Till now, we have no wrong answer. That makes us know that we know a lot about our leaders, our God. Where did Buddha attain parinirvana? You can also speak. Unmute yourself
C.
and speak.
Option C, Kushinagar.
So everyone is saying C, and that is correct. It is a village in Uttar Pradesh where Buddha attained parinirvana. Next question. Okay. So what is the name of Lord Buddha's wife?
Option D. Yashodhara.
Yes, can you repeat? What did you say?
Option D. Yashodhara.
Okay, let's go with D.
Option D, Yashodhara.
That is also correct. Wonderful. Moving on. So this is, I guess, a challenging one. Let's test ourselves. The collection of Buddha's teaching is
Sutta Pitaka. Option B.
Option B.
so. Sir, please log option B. People are going with D. I'm really amazed that you guys know a lot about it. I guess this is our second last question. So, what is the name of Dr. Baba Sahib Ambedkar Memorial Site?
Option C. Chaitya
So, please go with option C. That is also correct. I think this was our last. Have one more. The largest Buddhist temple in the world is located in
D.
See that? Anyone else?
Option D. China. Indonesia.
So what should we do? Option D, right?
Yes.
Sir, let's go with option D, as the audience is saying option D. Okay, that is the wrong answer. And somebody said option C, I guess. So, can you again tell who was that?
Amol Vaidya.
Okay, so can you name the temple?
No, I only know of country.
So, yeah, your answer is correct. So So the name of the temple is it's kind of hard. The pronunciation, but I will try. The name is Borobudur Temple, which is in Indonesia, and it is the world largest Buddhist temple. So yeah, this is the end of our quiz, and everybody really answered well. And I hope we will be having such interactions furthermore, and next will be continued. Handing over to Samruddhi, please. Thank you everyone for your time here.
हर युग में कोई एक क्रांतिवीर बन कर आता है, नई अलख जगाता है, ज्योतिबा फूले महात्मा की अमर ये गाथा है, इतिहास बताता है, जो स्वाभिमान से जीने की नई राह दिखाता है, कभी सिर न झुकाता है, ज्योतिबा फूले महात्मा की अमर ये गाथा है, इतिहास बताता है, धन्य ज्योतिबा फूले हम तुमको नहीं भूले, धन्य ज्योतिबा फूले हम तुमको नहीं भूले। महाराष्ट्र के पुणे में था एक छोटा कटगुण गांव, जहाँ पे रहते चिमना बाई और श्री गोविंद राव, सैनी पिछड़ी जाति
Thank you, Satyatha. The quiz was really very engaging, and I hope that everyone enjoyed themselves and also learned something at the same time. So before we move on, I would like to call Harshal once again. Harshal, if your network is stable, can you please try presenting again? Harshal, are you there?
Yes, yes.
Yes, if your network is okay, you can try presenting again.
Is my screen visible?
Yes, it is. You can start.
Yes. So in the book of
Harshal, we can't see your screen again. Okay, meanwhile, I would request everyone to please fill out the feedback form. We are going to share the link of the feedback form in a few minutes in the chat box. I would request everyone to take out some time and fill the form because your feedback is really valuable to us. Harshal, are you there? Harshal, you're not audible.
Yes.
Harshal, will you be able to present? Or
I think that host has disabled me.
Harshal, you
Yes.
are co-host, but I think there is some problem at your end.
But I'm not getting the permission to
Have you
share the
have you joined through the laptop or in the mobile?
so laptop.
Then there is some internet issue. You are co-host and you can share your screen also.
Harshal, you have joined with two accounts, and in the first account you are the co-host, but for the second account you are not the co-host. That's why. So please check it. Okay, now you are the co-host also, so you can start.
Yes, Harshal, please go ahead.
Yes, sir. So I will summarize fast because time I have taken so much time. So in this book of Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar waiting for visa, there are mainly 6 incidents which Dr. Babasaheb faced when Dr. Babasaheb was in India. So the first incident is based on when Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar was uh, at the age of 11, means when his father was in Koregaon. So so Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar and his siblings means they want to meet his father, but at that time Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar was living at Ratnagiri at his home, but his father was living at Koregaon, which was an army camp. So Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar and his sibling wrote a letter to his father that we are willing to come at your place. So we will be coming. So next they plan to go to Koregaon. So for them, they were little children. For them traveling to Koregaon means it was a journey. At that time, train was only option, means traveling medium through which they can travel through Koregaon. So for them it was their new experience to travel to Koregaon by train. So they were so much excited. So they informed their father in letter that they will be arriving by train on such day. You please make an arrangement for us when we will arrive at the railway station. You please means send someone to uh, to pick means to pick up us from the station. But when they arrived from their home, the the journey the journey the journey to them were so much, means it was so much enjoyable. But when they arrived at the station railway station, at that railway station there were no any men sent by Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar father to pick up them. So they were waiting at the station only. So at that time they met an railway master, means the TC at them. So by looking at them, he asked them that where you want to go and to whom you have come here to meet. So at that time, Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar told that we had came from a far distance to meet our father. So the TC asked them that, miss, at that time the casteism was so much at high level. They were practicing of untouchabilities. So at that time the TC asked to them, so what is your caste? So so Dr. Ambedkar replied that we are Mahar. At that time, that TC also got shocked that how come this means so much children they have traveled from such a far distance, and means they had he was shocked that the untouchables childrens where they were not.
Sambudhi, I think he lost the connection.
Yes, yes, sir.
Can you go ahead? Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so I think there's some problem with Harshal's network. So we'll proceed with our program, and we have come to the end of our program. To conclude and give the vote of thanks, I would like to call Mandar Bhalerao. He's from Pune. So Mandar, are you there with us? Please unmute. Yes, you can please proceed with the vote of thanks and conclude the program.
Yes. Respected invited guests, participants, and performers, fellow friends, Jai Bhim everyone. I am honored and it's my privilege to have an opportunity to give a vote of thanks on this occasion. I, on behalf of IQ Leaders team and entire team, present here a very heartily vote of thanks to all the role players, performers, and participants for the contribution and sharing their thoughts and opinions through various performances. They all deserve a big round of applause. Host and co-host welcomed the participants and helped us for initial meeting arrangement. They ensured that all the initial setup required for smooth progression of meeting was in place. Vishakha opened the meeting with motivational quotes, paying tribute to our great leaders, Mahanayak and Mahanayika. Also, she added the value by reading the preamble of our Indian Constitution. The captain of the question and answer segment, Saili Wagmare, very nicely conducted the session. Also, she asked very interesting questions based on the information shown in the video. We are sure that this helped us in improving our listening skill and refreshing our knowledge. It was very informative and motivational. Harshal Sawan presented the analysis of the book Waiting for a Visa. It was very interesting. Motivational speaker in expert talk segment, Prajwal Thool sir, has very nicely explained on the topic educational opportunities abroad. We are sure that this information would be definitely useful for our IQ Youth Club friends and the participants. With the support of our attendees and participants, we are now successfully completing this IQ Youth Club meet. In this way, we have celebrated our great leaders' birth anniversary. Congratulations, everyone. Thank you very much for all your valuable time and grateful presence. Last but not the least, I would like to thank our organizing team members. Without their support, this completion of successful meeting would have not been possible. With this, I declare the meeting is closed. Over to the host.